Welcome back to Wizard Supercoach. I thought now would be a pretty good time to do a team update. We've had a full round of match sims or practice games or whatever you want to call them, the unofficial ones, so a few of those shitty 6-quarter ones going on. Bit of a hard watch in the last few quarters, but, well, not even quarters, what are they? Periods, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I've ditched doing the team previews as frankly no one was watching them. So that's actually a good thing though that people obviously vote with their feet. So that's good. I know what people want to see. So yeah, I guess I'll just get into the team update. So still got Dacos. Don't need to say much about him. Stewart had him in the team reveal as well. Sheasel is one that I've added. Now, I don't like to pay too much attention to the match sims and practice matches and stuff, apart from a player's role and like job security indicators. Because if anyone has ever played footy and you're listening, like you'd know that in trial games or internal trials and stuff like that, it's really hard to get motivated, like psychologically. You kind of always got in the back of your mind, you just don't want to get hurt for the real thing. And obviously that's going to limit some players who are already safe in the team. You know, they're not going to be trying their hardest to rack up 40 disposals or whatever. Well, Sheasel did, and it's pretty hard to ignore. So he's kind of like, in my eyes, the second Dacos. I initially had him when the team picker opened, and then as soon as the rumours came out that he was going to be starting half forward and crap like that, I took him out. But yeah, I think I'm back on that train now that it looks like he's going to be playing half back with a little bit of midfield time. He can score pretty well in either role as well. I just don't want him at half forward. He's going to have a little bit of competition back there for the ball, maybe with McKercher and Zach Fisher, but I'm counting on Fisher to probably injure himself or just get dropped altogether if Sheasel and McKercher are dominating. Hayden Young, so he's still in, only just. I wasn't impressed at all with last night's game from what I saw. I guess, plays okay, but more so that he wasn't in the starting mid-rotation, spent more time back. And I said this a couple of videos ago or something, that Fremantle couldn't accommodate all of these players. Like Fife coming in, if he was going to be going back to being a midfielder, the others had to lose CBA percentage, and it looks like it's happening. So Brayshaw was the one that missed out the most, I think. He lined up on the wing a lot, so as you can see, he's gone from my team. And I know I said don't buy into match sims and stuff like that, but that was definitely like a role thing. So without CBAs, he's not going to be scoring huge, or not, at least not what we want him to. He probably still scores decently no matter where he plays. He's that kind of player, but still, it's not what we want. So he's out, and yeah, Young is just barely still in. I don't know what I'm going to do if I do axe him. I may go down to just the 3 primo defenders and get a 6 primo mid in, I reckon. But yeah, wait and see what happens next week, because it could have just been a case of Fremantle trying to give everyone a chance and roll everyone through there. They do have a lot of inside mids like Will Brodie and Erasmus and that. So yeah, I can't see all of them lining up in the real thing. So we'll get more of an idea next week. I'm pretty excited for these games coming up, and the fact that there's like not a week off in between them and round 0, it's pretty cool. Footy's back in a big way. It snuck up on us. Williams is another one who he is just hanging in there in my team. It looks like he's not going to play in round 0, and if he doesn't play in round 1, I'm not picking him. I can downgrade to him later. Hopefully by that time, when he finally comes in, it'll line up nicely, and should be able to. Hopefully one of these guys has made enough money and catch Williams on the bubble or something like that. Caulfield apparently looked pretty good. I didn't watch all of the game, but he seemed okay from what I saw in the match sim against the Hawks. I think that he'll line up round 1. A lot of Bulldogs supporters are saying that he's a lock for the best 22. I've only heard really one person saying that he wouldn't. So I don't know. It's the guys at this price. Like Caulfield's not exactly a rookie, but he's rookie priced. You just got to wait and see. I'm not locking anything in. These are just kind of placeholders. So Marty Hoare was in the team, but he's gone because he played in Melbourne's second team. And I've gotten rid of Curtin as well. You might notice if you remember my previous team. The role's not good. He doesn't look to be a ball winner yet. He looks a bit weak out there, I think. I wasn't so worried in the internal trial because they had him playing in the second team on Tex. I think that was just like a learning thing, how to play defence on an elite forward. And yeah, he got absolutely spanked there, which is to be expected because one-on-one Tex is one of the strongest players in the AFL. You can't expect a kid to push him around, but yeah, he's just not getting the ball and stuff. I will come back to him later though, I think, when I talk about Harley Reid and stuff. But yeah, Gibcus, he looks like he'll just do what he did in his first year. He should get enough ball back there. I don't think Richmond's going to be particularly strong, so there should be enough to go around. Yeah, and Zach Reid, for now, he should be playing round 1, you would think, alongside Mackay and Ridley. So Bont's still in the middle. Still got Butters. Still got LDU. Martin has replaced Brayshaw because he's got that really good role. Now, he never had a problem finding the ball. We know he's a good user, even when he was on the wing. But yeah, playing loose half back, I think he's going to clean up, and he showed that in the practice game. Although Essendon looked pretty terrible, so I guess that's another plus that the ball's probably going to live down there. Because I don't think St Kilda are that great, and they made Essendon look absolutely horrible. But yeah, Martin, he should get DPP in round 6 and then swing him back to defence. Yeah, Crouch, he's another one that I'm not as sold on now. He looked alright in the match sim against Port. It was a bit of a worry seeing Rankin getting so many CBAs though. Crouch is probably the one that would suffer from that. Possibly Dawson as well by the look of it. I'm pretty tempted to get Laird actually. He doesn't look like he's declining at all and he's ultra consistent. I just don't know if I want Laird and Crouch in my team, so probably expect that to be rejigged at some point as well. McKercher and Sanders, everyone has them. They're still there. Sanders cleaned up in the trial, so yeah, just lock him in. Matt Roberts, supposedly he's playing halfback for Sydney now. I'm definitely not sold on him, although he showed enough last year that he should be a pretty decent pick. He's just got to avoid being the sub and things like that. Yeah, not much has changed really, apart from Brayshaw out and Martin in the midfield. Sin is the other one that's gone. He played in the seconds for Port, like in just the last 2 periods, and he looked pretty good, but the fact he was in the seconds means really can't start him. So Ware from GWS, he's come in. I think he'll get that vacant wing role, given that Callaghan is injured. So yeah, Sharp and Clark are still there. I did have Darcy Wilson in here, but I've moved him forward now. Gorn and Grundy, still got them. I just want to say with them that people looking for value in the ruck this year, I don't think you ever really get the opportunity to have 2 players like this at the price they are. Like you might get one, but never the 2 together. And both of them have massive ceilings. I just wouldn't be going against the pack in the ruck. Like, look for value elsewhere. But I don't think this is the year to do it. It's just too much of a risky game when you've got 2 absolute stars and Supercoach royalty, really. yeah, I wouldn't be betting against the pack on that one. But yeah, Naismith, I've got him in now. I did have Sweet last time, and then I had Conway once it looked like Sweet was going to be behind Soldo. But I don't want to pay up for Conway. 180 is too much. Obviously, it depends on who's named round one and stuff, but I can see Naismith getting early games. We know that he can score okay if he does play, and Samson Ryan didn't really look at the level in the trial. Again, not buying into trials too much. Definitely trying not to anyway. But yeah, Naismith, from what Richmond are saying, it sounds like he's a good chance to line up. So if he does, I'll probably put him in. Let's put it this way, at this point anyway, I think I'd rather play a loop than pay up for Conway. I'm just not convinced on him at all. Especially because Chris Scott loves to play the older guys, so he could just pull the rug out from under Conway at any moment and put Stanley in. Flanders, I've still got as my F1. Oh, sorry, no, I had McRae last time. So he's gone, obviously, because of the hamstring problem. And then, yeah, I saw a bunch of stats and stuff that suggested that it really wasn't what Bevo was doing. He's just been in decline for a while, so I'm not sold on him. I think he'll still be probably a top 6 forward, depending on DPPs and stuff like that, but he's not a starting pick now. Fife I was dead against, and then about a week ago I stuck him in the team, and then I still wasn't exactly sold on it, but watching the game last night and seeing how he operated, yeah, I think you definitely got to give him the chance. There's never been a question of whether he can score or his quality. He's one of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion. Probably most people's opinions. But yeah, he just moved pretty well and didn't even look like getting injured, which is unusual for him these days. All he's got to do really is play like 6 games, and then we can punt him. Let's just hope he can get the 6 games. I was hoping for the same thing last year with McGovern and just fell short. That's Jeremy McGovern, by the way. I'd never pick Mitch. But yeah, Fife has, unfortunately, if he's going to be doing this, he's kind of wrecked a couple of teammates as picks, potentially. Like I said before, Young and Brayshaw. I don't think Sarong's going to get impacted as much because he can't really play anywhere else. But Young, if he misses out on these CBAs and goes back to defence, I wonder how that's going to impact Luke Ryan, whether that makes him score better or worse. I'll have to look into that one. The one that really stood out last night, though, was what's his name? The halfback, Clark, I think, for Fremantle. He was just racking it up. I don't know why or whatever. He finished last year pretty well, so he's definitely on the watch list now. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch another game of Fremantle before I decide on what the hell's going on there. They look like a team that's not settled themselves, and Longmuir is just throwing magnets at the board, hoping something sticks. So James Jordan's gone. I just don't know what his role is. It's a bit all over the place by the look of it. He's even a sub risk, and I hate to say that, given that he was sub so much for Melbourne last year. So I've gone Harms instead. He looks like he's going to play that high half forward role and get some midfield time, especially with Bailey Smith out. I think that he can do like 80 to 90. I think he's done it before, playing the similar role. And really, with the way the forward options are this year, that's a big pass if he does that. Billings looked really good in the match sim. Don't need to say too much about him. Harley Reid looked not too good. He had a couple of flashes of brilliance last night. He looked a bit shell-shocked, to be honest. I think he's one of those high draft picks, obviously pick number 1, that's had it his own way pretty much forever. And he's come up against men last night. Like, not just an internal trial or whatever. This is like the opposition that don't give a shit about whether they hurt you. And yeah, it didn't look able to handle it. In his defense, though, And this is why I wanted to bring up, who was the other? Curtin. If you remember back to last year, Max Michelini for the Crows, he looked terrible in the preseason games. He looked shell-shocked. He looked like he couldn't get near the ball. Terrible roll, all that shit. And then he trotted out like an 85 and he tonned up as well in his first 3 games. So he ended up making close to 160,000 for the year. So don't go too early on these rookies. Like, you got to remember they've got to find their feet at the level a little bit as well. And I think they're going to learn real fast. So someone like Reed, he's number 1 pick for a reason. Clearly you can see that he's got those flashes of brilliance. He's not like a Cam Rayner or something that just you wonder why he ever went pick number 1. So yeah, just remember that. Like, I think it pays a lot to maybe go back and check what was going on this time last year and what people were saying. I think you can learn a lot from it. Finn McRae, he looks like he should get a run in the midfield. I'm a little bit worried about maybe him being a sub or something, but Taylor Adams moving on leaves a bit of a hole there, so someone's got to fill it. I'm hoping it's McRae. Supposedly he was pretty good in the trial. I didn't watch it, but yeah, for now he's a decent placeholder. He's easy enough to trade down from being 152k. I did have Manor in his spot, but I'm not convinced at all that he's going to get a gig round 1, and even if he does, I can see him being the sub. So he had to go. James Cheetahs had to go as well from the forward line. I am still considering him though, because I'm still convinced that he's the kind of player that Dimmer absolutely loves. And there was an article through the week where Cheetahs was saying what an impact Dimmer has had on him, so definitely keep an eye on him. His teammate Sexton, he has surprisingly made his way into the team. When I say surprisingly, it's not what you're thinking, like everyone has him. I just never thought I'd be picking him as a Supercoach pick, because he was the patchiest forward pocket ever. He'd kick like 5 goals in a game off 5 touches, that kind of thing, not score high. And that was when he was playing good, but he seems to have found a new spot on half back of all places. So supposedly he played pretty well there, and as we know, that's one of the plum roles for Supercoach. So at that price and with his experience, I think you got to back him in and give him a chance. Just hope he's not going to be the next Charlie Constable, just be the eternal bubble boy. But yeah, got to take the chance. Again, at least being 133k, he should be easy enough to correct if he's shit or Dimmer loses faith with him. And then yeah, Darcy Wilson, I moved him from the midfield to the forward because it was just a structural thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I think things will change a lot more over the next week with the set of proper practice games, because obviously we know that teams, they go into them as a dress rehearsal for round 1 or round 0, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, they try and put, I think, their best team on the park and try out their structures for what they're actually going to do. So we can read into it a lot more then. Even then, I would say don't read into it too much though. It can definitely be a trap. People will remember Bruin last year. I'm glad I didn't pick him, but yeah, it was pretty tempting to get sucked in by him, but look what happened. So just remember these things. As I said, go back, and it's wise to spend some time looking at articles from this time last year and what everyone was doing, because you definitely can learn a lot from history. Sorry, I just got a message. Yeah, so just lastly, I would say at this time of year, try to back in your own philosophy. Like, we've all got access to good information and stats and stuff, and there's websites that I always mention, like DFS Australia, and there's really elite Supercoach YouTubers like, DR, FT, TV Boys, and Abs Magic, people like that. Everyone listens to Selby now on his podcast, and he's one that I think, like, obviously he's probably the greatest fantasy player out there. But I see a lot of people now basically just copying him. Now, first of all, where's the fun in that? Like, if you just copy someone, I've got mates that do it, and you just wonder what's the point? How is that fun? I think, it's all about getting the information. The important thing is what you do with it. So it's okay to back your own instincts and stuff, because Selby himself would probably tell you that he doesn't get everything right. And you can't beat these people by copying them. So, yeah, I think just back yourself in. Get a philosophy, however you want to build it, whatever you want to base it on, do it and back it in. The game's so much more fun that way. Even if it stuffs up, you can't sit there and blame anyone else. So, yeah, I guess that's what I'll leave you with. Hope you enjoyed the vid, and I should have another update soon. As I said, I'm not doing the previews now. So, yeah, probably in about 5 days' time or something, I might do another team update, depending if it changes. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next vid. Thanks for watching.